Hi guys, it's Mary Ellen. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about photo editing. So I'm going to be talking about how I edit my photos, what apps I use, and the steps I take to brighten up my photos so that they're good enough for my feed. So if you're interested in learning all about that, stick around. This is a video that's been requested so many times. I do have another older video on it, but I've changed how I do things a little bit, so I thought I would update it. I use two apps on my phone to edit my photos, Facetune 2 and PicTap Go. PicTap Go is the most important one. I don't always use Facetune 2. It depends on the lighting in the photo, but I always use PicTap Go. I never want to throw a photo up on Instagram without it being edited because it's just not going to look good. And I definitely want it to look its best, and I want the brightness to be as bright as it can be without washing it out, all of that stuff. So what I'm going to do is just share my screen with you and take you through my process. So check this out. The first thing I do is go into my photos, find the photo. You can see I have tons of planner photos in here. Look at this at all times. So click on the photo you want to edit. This is the original photo I took. It looks pretty good, but it's not fantastic. So if you watched my last video on planner styling, planner photo styling, you saw me take this photo. If you haven't checked that video out, it's really useful. Click the link in the description box, and there's also like a free printable prop list that has like other tips and stuff on it. So check that out in the link in the description box below. Anyway, so I'm in this original photo that I took. I'm going to click edit. Again, I'm on an iPhone 10. So if you use a different phone or a camera, your situation is going to be a little bit different, but this is what I do. I don't edit my photos in iPhoto because the editing tools aren't that great, but I do crop it in here. So when I took this, I decided that I wanted it straight on. I didn't want to angle my planner at all. I can, if I change my mind later, I can come in here and do this. Like sometimes I will take the photo on an angle, but if I don't, and then I change my mind, I can do this. I click this little crop icon down here, and then you can see you're in the straighten mode. So here's what I do. And sometimes I take my photos far away from the board just so I can have room to do this later if I want to. So I can do this. I can move this around. That looks pretty good, but I don't think I want that. So let me go back here and then try it on this side. Also cute, but I don't think I want that. And you can zoom into if like you're too far away. Say you only want to put like a part of your planner on there, you could do that. Sometimes they do that, it looks really cute. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the original. Now I'm gonna crop it. And when I hit that crop button, I wanna make sure it's in square. It might already be, but I wanna make sure of that. So then I can zoom in, and I can put it exactly where I want it. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna hit done. And that saves it in that crop. So now I'm gonna go back out, and I'm gonna go to PicTap Go. Okay, you can see I already was messing with this one. Just ignore that. I'm gonna go to picture, and let me find my pic. Here it is. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is go up here and click edit. PicTap Go is cool because it has a ton of different filters. So if you look down here, I always have it on all, but you can go to basics, you can go to color filters, you can go to black and white filters. I usually have all the filters listed. The first thing that I do, like you can actually create recipes. You can, basically what this is it's an app where you can layer filters on top of other filters. That's why it's so good. It's not like you click one filter and then you have to use that. You can choose different filters. So you can create recipes of your filter choices. And then in my style, you can go to recipes and you can find your recipes in there. You can also go to history to see all of the photos that, like all the edits you've done. I was fooling around with this before this video. You can go to most used. So you can click on that and see if like one of those works, but I don't do it that way. I go to filters and I adjust each photo separately because the lighting's going to be different. The colors in the picture are going to be different. So it's not always going to work to save a recipe. So I don't really use that feature, but you can try that. It might work for you. Anyway, here's the typical recipe I use. I first go to lights on, and that looks pretty bright, but we're going to work on that. So then I go down, and you can also do this. Whoops. You can also, you know, change the brightness. I'm going to leave it on all the way bright for now. Now you go back down. The next thing I usually do is I go to cool it down, because typically in my house, the lighting's a little bit warm. So I don't want it like too yellow. I also don't want it too blue. So if I can move this back and forth too. You can see it gets yellower and it gets bluer. But in this case, maybe because of the blue background, the blue is making the page whiter. Look at the whites on the page. So they're kind of yellowy there. That's pretty good there, but you don't want to go too blue either. Sometimes I'll use auto color. This time it's not really working for me. So I can click undo. I'm back to that original two filters that I used. The next thing I do is go to crispity. And what crispity does is it sharpens up your photo. Now that I got the iPhone 11, which I did not use, I used the iPhone 10 on this photo. I may not need to use crispity as much because like the photos in the 11 are much sharper. So we'll see if I need to or not, but this is still the 10. I do need to pretty much every time use crispity. That looks pretty good. You can also, if you want, you can layer the same filter on top of that filter to make it like double. Do you see what it did? I don't want to do that, but you can do that with any of the filters. So I'm going to click undo to take it back to that. You don't want it to be too sharp because it's going to look unnatural. But you want to sharpen it up enough so that the letters are easily readable and all of that. I'm going to go back down here. The next filter I use is shadows almost all the time. Now this looks a little too bright. So see what shadows does. Do you see this? It takes away a lot of the shadow on your page. If you look at the planner page, it basically brightens it up a lot. I don't want to use full shadow on here because I have this plant and it's starting to look a little bit fake. Yes, it is a fake plant anyway, but I'm going to go about to there probably. I think that looks pretty good. So now I think I'm satisfied with my photo editing. So I'm going to go to go, and then down here, I'm going to save to camera roll. Okay, now I can go back to my camera roll, and if I go up here, it's going to be saved as a new photo. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to edit a white photo. It's a little bit different. I could show you how to edit like this photo because this is like the original ones I took on the white. It does look gray, but I'm going to show you one that's even darker. So I'm going to go to like this one. We're going to see what we can do with this one. It's really dark, right? I took this at night just to see what it would do. There's a shadow there. There's a lot of darkness here. So let's see what we can work on with this photo. So I'm going to leave this in this crop just for this example. I know there's no props in it. I wouldn't typically put a photo up on Instagram just plain like this, but this is like, I'm just showing you how to edit. So let's go back to Pick, Tap, Go. go to pick up here, and we're going to choose this photo, okay? By the way, my brightness is all the way up, so you can see how dark this photo really is. So we're going to go to edit. First thing, obviously, lights on. It's going to need a lot of lights on, so I'm going to do a few, maybe even one more half. I know it's looking really blown out right now. Actually, no, I'm going to just do 2 of them. I know it's looking really blown out right now, but we're going to fix that. I'm going to go down here to cool it down because, again, that photo is pretty yellow. So we're going to slide this slider up to about there. I think we can always come back and change it later. Auto color, what this one's doing is making it way too bright, so I'm not going to use that this time. Now we're going to go down to crispity, crisp it up. Now we're going to go up to shadows. Now shadows is really where you're going to see a big difference. Well, actually maybe not on this photo as much, but do you see how that brightens it up? Now I'm going to click go and save, but I know it's not done yet. I know it doesn't look good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into Facetune 2. You can see I was already working on this one. I was practicing for this video. I'm going to go to photos. I'm going to choose that. Wait, is that the one? I guess that's the one I just did. Doesn't look very good, does it? I don't think so. We're going to hit retouch. And down here, we're going to select whiten. Okay, so now I'm just going to do this. I'm going to whiten around the edges of the planner. However, you have to be really careful not to go onto your planner or even right up to the edge, because in order to have a natural looking photo on Instagram, you're going to want to have a little bit of shadow. If you don't have any shadow at all, it's going to look fake, and it's not, in my opinion, a great aesthetic. So you're going to want it to look as natural as you can while still whitening up the background. In my last tutorial on YouTube, when I talked about this, I wasn't as experienced, so I whitened the crap out of like the background too much. So, and it just like looked kind of fake. Now, as I've gotten more experienced at Instagram, I've realized that that's maybe not the best way to go. So that's why I'm kind of showing you how to do it this way. So this slider down here is going to be your, like, how much whitening you want. So there's like no whitening. There's 100%. This time we're going to put it on 100%. One thing I wanted to mention is do not, I know I said don't go onto your planner. Don't whiten. I'm going to show you what happens actually when I do that. So I'm still on whiten. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to whiten this because I think this is too dark. Do you see what happened? I'm going to show you. Watch this. Watch these colors here. Okay, there you have, and you can zoom in too. Let me try zooming in. Do you see this green box? What happened to that when I whitened it? It faded out, and you're not going to have the right colors. Look at that beach ball. It's not right. So you want to really try to avoid whitening your pages itself, because you're going to fade out your colors. It's not going to look natural. It's not going to look as vibrant, and it's not going to look good. So what I'm going to do here is go back and erase that. Okay. And now I'm going to slide this up. All right, now I'm going to save this. There's other tools on here that I can use, that I use sometimes, like once in a while. If there's like a speck on my board or a hair on my planner, I will go over here to conceal, and I'll just kind of like, I'll hit that, and then you kind of just rub in where the spot is so that it takes it out. That's really helpful too. Okay, so, but I don't need that right now. So we're gonna hit save. And then we're going to go up here and hit save. Now I'm going to go back into the picture in my phone because it saves it. But here was the one, wait. So this is the one that came from Pick Tap Go. And then this is the one that was in Facetune. You can see it's definitely better, but the problem is it's not great to take photos in super low lighting because you're going to run into this issue where if you whiten the background, your planner is going to look darker. But we can try to fix that. So let's go back into Pick, Tap, Go. Sometimes I do this several times. We're going to go to Pick, and we're going to go up here to the most recent one. We're going to try to fix it a little bit. Edit. It's looking really blown out now. So let's try to fix it. You don't want to use contrast a lot unless you really need to, because look what happens with contrast. It's like really blown out. You don't want your photos to be too contrasty. It's like, it's just not a good look. So let's try air. Once in a while I'll do air. I know that's like really blown out, but do you see what it does? Like if the color's kind of off on the planner itself, sometimes air will brighten it up. It's sort of like shadows in that it makes the page a little bit whiter. I don't use air a lot, but sometimes I need to. So let's hit go and save to the camera roll. Let's go back and look at it. So here's the first one we took off of Pick, Tap, Go. I was going to show you like the one from before, but it's never in order. I can show you that though. And then this is the one we fixed, and then this is the one with air on it. I think this one looks better. You can see the white is whiter. So look at the white here. Okay. It's a little pinkish actually. We can probably fix that. And look at the white here. Like to me, this white looks whiter than this white. Again, this photo is very blown out. I probably wouldn't even use this, but I just wanted to show you what you can do if you've got a really dark photo. So let's go back and look at that photo. So remember this one, okay? Let's go back and look at the one we took. Do you see what a big difference you can make with photo editing? Like it's crazy what you can do. Like sometimes I'll just look at my photos and just be amazed. And sometimes I'll take a photo and I'll look at it and think there's no way I can possibly edit that to make it like good enough for Instagram. And then I go and do something like this and it's like, what? How did I do that? So Pick, Tap, Go is really good. I think it costs, I think I bought it for like $4.99 a couple years ago. I don't know what it costs now, but it's not very much and it's worth every single penny. I use it every time I edit a photo. A lot of times I don't have to use Facetune 2 at all, but especially if I use like a colored photo, like I said, but sometimes I do. So if you watched my last video on taking planner photos and styling and stuff, I talked a lot about natural lighting. This photo I purposely took over by my door last night in the dark when there was like no light over there. I would not like try to get your photos better than this to start. Then you're not going to run into the problems that I just did with making it too bright. Okay, I know that looks pretty good, but in my opinion, that's just too bright. Like if you look over here, you can't even see the edge of the planner. That's not good in my opinion. So I probably, like I said, I probably wouldn't post that. So if you didn't watch that video, that last video, go back and check that out because you'll learn how to get like the proper lighting to begin with so that you don't have to like go through too much photo editing. Okay, now let's go back and try to edit that photo that was pretty good. Do you see that? I could even leave it like that. It's not bad. It looks very natural, but I don't think it's good enough for Instagram. So let's try to brighten that one up because the lighting here that I started with was a lot better than the lighting of that other photo. So let's go back into Pick, Tap, Go. We'll go to Pick up here and click this photo. Okay, so edit. Lights on. It's looking pretty good already, isn't it? Cool it down, maybe. See, that makes it look too cool. So I'm not going to use cool it down at all. This time I'm going to try auto color. It's not great, but it might be a little better than this. This is a little bit yellowish. Let's try just doing like halfway. Now let's go to crispity. That looks pretty good. And now let's go to shadows. Again, my plant's looking a little washed out, so I don't want to do that. If the plant wasn't there, I could probably go higher, but I'm gonna go right about there. Okay, I'm gonna hit go and save. And now I'm gonna go back in and look at it. So here's the one that I saved. Now, to me, it's pretty much done. Like, I don't really mind that shadow there. I think leaving in the shadow is better than trying to take it out. But if you don't want that edge there, whoops, you can't tell when the black is there. If you don't want that like little edge, you can go back in to Facetune 2. And you can just whiten up, go to retouch, whiten, and then you can just whiten up the very bottom edge, being careful not to go near that planner as best you can. And then we're gonna click and save it. And now we'll go back in and you can see the comparison. So I'm not sure how good you can see this, but look at this one. Look in this corner here where you can see the gray. And now look at this one. It still looks natural because there's still a little shadow right there near the planner, but that gray part is taken away so that you don't see the edge of the picture. All right, let's do one more example of a white photo because those are the hardest ones to work with. So here I am in a photo I found on my iPhone that was unedited. You can see the lighting's pretty good. I didn't do a bad job with the lighting. I probably was in my living room like in the afternoon when the lighting was brighter and soft. So I have a feeling it's not going to be hard to edit this. So let's go into Pick, Tap, Go and select it. Okay, so here it is. So now we're going to go into edit and we're going to brighten it up. So already it's like, wow, like if you click and hold, you're going to see the difference. I like to do that sometimes because it's fun. It's like, whoa. I may not even have to do anything else, but I think it looks a little bit yellowy, which isn't a bad thing sometimes, but I think I want to try just cooling it up slightly, or cooling it down, I should say, really slightly, like there, okay? So I may not even need to do anything else. Let's try my usual. We'll go to crispity. So I can't zoom in to show you, but when you use crispity, it does make the writing on the page kind of easier to read. So I do usually crisp it up for that reason when I'm doing it after the pen. Now let's go to shadows and try that. Okay. Again, you don't want to do this too much or it's going to look blown out and like washed out. But see, if you look at the discs, watch the discs when I move this, the black discs in the middle. Now they look kind of not right, right? So you want to keep a little bit of shadows in there. So let's try that. Let's go to, whoops. Wait, did I just, okay. Go to go. Camera roll. Okay, sorry. And now let's go back in my camera roll and look at the difference. So here is the one that was there. Here is the one I brightened up. Now, in my opinion, this really doesn't need any more photo editing. I don't mind this time that you can see the gray line at the bottom of the page because that's the kind of photo I'm going for. I'm going for like a natural look. If you wanted to, you could go in there a little bit and brighten up this section, but just be very cautious because if you have props that are coming off the side of the page, it's going to look unnatural if it doesn't have a shadow there. So I would leave this and I would post it like it is because I think it's soft and pretty. Another question I get sometimes is, can I use artificial lighting to take my photos, like a ring light or a light box or something like that? The answer, like for me, whenever I try to take photos under my ring light, it just does not come out as good as natural lighting. You can do it, it's just not gonna be like as good, in my opinion. Natural lighting works the best as far as like the least editing, the least glare on your planner, if you have a planner in the picture, stuff like that. You can do it, like I said, if you're somebody who just isn't home when there's light. Well, you know, you could wait till weekends, or you could try to use some artificial lighting. I don't really have any recommendations for that because, like I said, I don't use that for my photos. Unless it's like a stormy, rainy day, in which case sometimes I will take it at my desk, but it's pretty rare that I do that because I just find the quality is not as good. You know, your opinion may differ. You might have great results under that kind of lighting. I just don't, and I just don't recommend it, but that doesn't mean it, you know, that it doesn't work for some people. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I had a really good time making this series. Again, check out the other two videos in the description box below. The first one is starting a planner Instagram and growing your channel. The second is styling and photo props and all that kind of stuff. And then this editing one. So it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys got something out of it. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions at all. I can really try to help. And you can check out my Instagram to see what I do if that helps you out. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. Stay tuned for Doodle of the Day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.